Hey guys, it's Jess here. I know something is going on around here. I've been trying to set things up, make them a little bit more unique. Basically, I kind of got fed up with the whole being in the window thing. It was the best lighting, because this is a bit shadowy, but I prefer it a lot. I've got a nice little bird. I think it's like supposed to be like a crow or a raven in a little snow globe. Try to drop it, but he's very cute. So he is gonna be sour behind me at all times, watching you watch my video. I've had several requests for like story times. I don't really have that many stories to tell you. I can give you a couple here and there, but so the other thing that I did get a lot of was, oh, you know, talk about your piercings, talk about your tattoos, talk about your stretched ears. So I think that's what I'm going to be trying to do this video. So I'm just going to start this off pretty quickly. I'm going to start with the ones that you can see on my face, and then I'll kind of go through the ones on my ears. Bear in mind that some of them aren't fully healed, so some of them look awful, and honestly you shouldn't be leading by my example because they're not very good and not very well healed, if healed at all, because as I say, I don't think they finished healing. If anyone's got any really good advice for piercings, let me know when you've seen them. So as you guys can see, I have my nose done and I have my vertical labret. A lot of people get really confused by this whole thing because for some reason it's thought to be French and that it's pronounced labret rather than labret. Everyone else I know who's got it is always labret. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't think anyone at this point knows. I'm just gonna call it labret. So this one is probably like one of my favorite piercings. The bar is a tiny bit long, as you will notice. This is the smallest bar that anyone does. Full stop. eBay, Amazon, pierces, no matter where you go. This, I believe, is a 6mm bar. I do have reasonably small lips, which means that there is a lot extra space on this bar. Originally it was on like an 8mm bar, and obviously after the swelling kind of went down, a month or so I think it took to fully go down, I had it changed. I just had it first changed to a silver bar, but I then thought I prefer the black because my nose ring's black, so I changed it to a black bar. So any little bits of food that you eat are gonna kind of, anything greasy especially, anything like if you're eating fajitas, it's got loads of spice. If you're eating like McDonald's and there's like grease dripping everywhere, you know, you're going to end up having little irritations and stuff in there. My nose, I'm still in love with my nose. I must have had it pierced for about, I'm trying to think, maybe about a year now. I think it's about a year now. I had some real problems with it when it first got pierced. I wasn't really sure what I was doing at first. And then after I thought it had healed and I stopped kind of treating it because it really went down and it didn't hurt when I, you know, twisted it around. And then out of the blue, I think I must have had like a little bit of a cold. People always do say, you know, be careful of like your piercings in your nose, with my bit of hair stuck to me, when you've got piercings in your nose, because they can be irritated by any of the gunk and stuff that's coming out of your nose when you're ill. And for some reason, when I was mildly ill, I don't think I actually had that much of like a sniff or like an actual like really blocked up nose or anything like that. I had this massive like lump grow on the inside of my nose, and when I mean grow, it just appeared one morning and it was only like a little lump, and then after a few days, maybe like half the size of a pea. And that doesn't sound a lot, but on the inside of your nose, like half of my nose, I just stuck my nail up my nose, half of my nostril up to about here, halfway up, was completely almost sealed up by this bump, so I was struggling to breathe in that nostril. I just still don't know what happened to this day. What I did was use loads and loads of salt, which dried it out, and then it kind of shriveled itself up, and I still do have a little bit of a remaining bump as a scar from where it was, but that was a pain in the ass and I've not had any problems since then, touch wood. The ones on my ears, let me just quickly show you. This is gonna become like a piercing, like what's wrong with my piercings kind of video. So the problem that I have is that my body really hates cartilage piercings. Any cartilage piercing that I've ever had, I as far as I know, I followed it like textbook, followed instructions, done everything that I was supposed to do with them. It's not really worked, so it's healed it to a certain extent. It seems to be that people are saying it takes about 5 years to heal fully. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. That's what I've decided to do for all of my piercings. It's just not worth the hassle of flaring them up again, because if they do get bad, which they probably will, they will be even worse. So I just kind of have to let nature take its course, and if it gets really, really bad and I can't treat them, then I will just have to take them out. But my body has always been like this. My helix was the first piercing I ever properly got, and it's healed perfectly now, but when I got it done I was having real issues with it for maybe like the first month or so, and then it settled down, but then it slowly grew a big lump on it like my nose did, and then, you know, as I say, I'd healed it properly, so I'm always like, what have I done wrong? Because it just comes out of nowhere. Massive lump, pus everywhere, horrendous situation. Thought I was gonna have to take it out. Ended up just chucking more salt on it again, drying it out, and that always seems to work when they flare up badly. And now I say it's healed perfectly, but it's just a really, really long process for me to get piercings. So I've got these obviously on my ears. I kind of briefly went over that, but yeah, my snuggle is still a bit of a pain in the ass. I don't know why I shouldn't have touched it then. That's like the #1 rule with piercings, is do not touch them, and I've just broken that rule. So my snug, which is this one right here, I am still having issues with. I got it done maybe about 6 months ago, I think. I didn't realise how much it was going to swell up. And I tell you, this fucking is swollen. It is still swollen from 6 months ago. I was having real issues with the bar because I was getting really paranoid. When I first got a pierce, obviously I know they put in like a really long bar. These ones are 8mm bar. Yeah, they must be 8mm bars. Oh, I just attacked my notes then. 8mm bars, which is kind of seems to be the standard for when you get cartilage piercings, because there is a bit swelling. So I'm just waiting and praying that the swelling is going to go down. The problem that I was saying I had with it a little while ago was the fact that the bar was really long, and when I got it pierced I kind of said to the woman, oh, like, that's a really, really long bar, because I know that they do put bars in longer, but this seems really, really long, and I was looking at it thinking, that bar's never gonna fill up, there is no way in how. And I didn't say anything else about it, because obviously that's their job, they know what they're doing. But I have seen several examples of people putting bars in that are way too long, so I was just kind of making sure that like that's the right size. And it took me all of about a week or two to realise that this is small. The amount of swelling that I have and still continue to have, if I could go up I might be able to show you better. But yeah, look at it, it's just insane, and you can still see a little lump on it, but I do not want to touch it. The second I touch it, it's gonna be back. It's slowly going down. It has slowly gone down. I'm just gonna wait and pray that it kind of sorts itself out. Say if it doesn't, I will have to take it out, but I am gonna give it at least another 6 months, because that's normally how long it takes to settle them. Maybe more, because as I say, this is the one that people say takes about 5 years to heal. So I'm just gonna try and give it as much time as possible, and obviously not touch it, not do anything with it, just leave it and let my body do its thing. So in here, on here, fuck, not in my ear, Jesus Christ. I have another helix, and this one is still, I haven't put a hoop in it or anything because it's still fresh. This one I believe is about 5 months old, 4 or 5 months old. I think I got it with Tom when he went to get his, what was it he got? It might have just been a helix, or a forward helix. He's taken it out now because he gets fed up with his piercing. It's a little bit flared up still, and you know, it does develop keloids and, you know, little bits of irritation every now and then, but again with the other ones I'm just going to keep it doing its thing, and hopefully it will sort it out. I might be wrong, but it's my ears at the end of the day. If I fuck them up, I fucked them up, and I've managed to heal like 3 piercings so far, and 2 of them are on my face, so I think it should be okay. I do have a lot of hassle with them, but I get there eventually. My other one, which is actually almost healed as well, is my rook. So my rook, I got it done the same time as I got my snug because it was a buy one get one free offer. I do love these offers because I can't afford to pay like 40 quid for 2 piercings. Nah, you best believe I am paying 20 quid and I'm walking out with 2. That makes 4, not 2. 2. Okay. Yeah, that is essentially my piercings. I don't really know what else there is to say about it. Again, with this one, I'm still having issues. I've had it for about 6 months, same as like my snug. It's cartilage, and I wish I had more to go through and more interesting stories to tell you guys about, but cartilage piercings are a bitch. And if you're going to take anything away from this video, just take away the fact that you really need to think about it when you get cartilage. If it's like your first sort of piercing and you've not really had anything done before, just make sure that you do your research, because cartilage piercings are the worst to heal. Honestly, the worst. I love them, but I fucking hate them every day of my life, especially when I hit my head against a pillow and I'm like, oh my god, my piercings, whatever. I made the mistake as well, so don't do this. Getting one on each side, which was obviously my rook and my snug when I both got them done at the same time. I thought, oh yeah, one of them's inside like the main kind of body of my ear, and the other one is on the outside, so I can sleep on this one and this one will be fine, you know. If not, I can just sleep on my back. I forget that people roll in their sleep, and I also had a random really weird habit of smashing my head on a pillow at some point. I don't know, I think my body was going, I don't like you, I don't like your piercings, I'm just gonna smack them until they come out. And I used to like jump up in bed and properly smack my head down, mainly this ear, which is why it's so fucked up. So I did also get some questions about my stretched ears, and my ears are currently at 14 millimeters, which isn't a lot. I do feel like they look a bit bigger on me, and I mean, people do say, oh, you know, that's actually, it sounds quite big, but it's not actually that big. And on me, I do think they look slightly bigger. I might just be saying that and going mental, but I am a very small person, as I say. On my face, like, I do have a wide face, but because I am small, everything else is small, which means that my face is small, my ears are small, which makes everything look a little bit bigger. Which is why I've got to be careful with piercings, because I don't have a lot of space to play with. But my stretches are currently at 14 millimeters. I'm planning to go up to 16. When I first started stretching, 16 was my kind of goal size. My boyfriend actually has massive ears. I think he's around 28 now. I think he got up to like 32, 34, and then decided that he wanted to size down a couple of sizes. So he went from like either a 32 or a 34 down to a 30 down to a 28, because he was having a few issues where it flares up. And I do completely agree with that. The best thing to do when they flare up is to just size them down, give them some time, and if you want to go bigger, then slowly bring yourself back up there. But say mine are quite small. I've not had any issues with mine, and the only reason that I haven't started doing them again is because I need to order the stuff off the internet, which isn't really going to be great at the moment, considering that no one can order anything. And number 2, I can't use tapers to stretch anymore. It's not a good idea, because once you get to bigger sizes, like, you know, I'm sure you can use tapers. It's not advised, and you shouldn't really, but tapers are, in my opinion, absolutely fine up until about 12 millimeters, because that's when they start getting a little bit bigger. And once you get to this size, and obviously I'm at 14, I want to go up to 16, I don't really want to be forcing a bit of plastic through an ear with a thin earlobe. My earlobes have, like, they've healed really, really well. Like, they're not thin, they're not you know, going to snap anytime soon, but I'm very, very, very paranoid that is going to happen to me. Everything on me is small, which means that, like, my boyfriend, he's got really, really thick ears, so his are actually fine. Mine aren't as thick as his, but I do not want to push it and shove a big bit of plastic through my ear. The thing is, people always want to skip sizes because they want to do it quickly. Most of the time, if you try and do it that quickly, you're going to mess your ears up, which means that you'll have to size down or take them out to redo it. There's a really high chance that you're going to have some real issues with that, and it might either not stretch, or it's just not going to heal properly if it does. And then you'll have to obviously fix that in the future. If you just take your time, it will actually look better anyway, and it will probably be quicker as well. I would just do that. So I also just really wanted to quickly say, because I know there are a lot of people that do it, do not leave your tapers in. It doesn't look good. It looks it literally looks like a giant African land snail has crawled up into your ear and just set up home. It's not good for your ear at all, and obviously they kind of hang behind your ear. Now one of the problems of that is the fact that it can distort your ear. So when I've got my tunnels in like this, they obviously sit pretty flush to my head. When you've got tapers in, because it has to lean on, you know, the back of your neck or whatever, it pushes them out like that, which means that you're gonna have your ears sticking out like this because you've decided to wear tapers for a long period of time. If you've got a large taper in, and for guys, I suppose it's not as difficult to get away with, but you shouldn't do it anyway. But for like me, if I had a taper in, that would be getting caught in my hair left, right and centre. That would snag on it and it would pull it, and it'd probably end up, you know, splitting some of the skin that was healing and pulling it apart, making it harder to do it in the first place. But yeah, so that is basically my piercings. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe down below if you did. And can we just take a moment to appreciate the beauty of the new background? I need to get my lighting sorted out as well, because honestly, I have a lamp. I will fight you with my... I'm like a moth drawn to a flame. I'm not gonna lick it. I'm not gonna lick it. I've kind of just got it sat over here. If you guys have any suggestions, I need the lighting on my face. If I could sit it like in front of me, like here, that would be perfect, but I can't because the camera's in the way. Really weird little detour I just had. But yeah, so if you guys enjoyed, please leave me a like, comment, give me any suggestions of what else you want to see me do. Any tips for trying to heal my god-awful piercings, and give me a little subscribe because your girl needs it. And I will see you next time. I do have a habit of just going on down a random trip. I don't know where it's going, but somewhere away from the topic. You eat with your mouth, obviously, as we all know. Well, not everyone does, but most people do. No, fuck. I don't know what the word is. But obviously, as I say with cartilage piercings, a lot of the time they don't.